Welcome to Small Batch Stews, smaller portions of some of the best stew dishes for cozy fall days. Today we're having Pollo Guisado. This is one of my favorite dishes to get at the Dominican spot, but it's so easy to make at home. I'm using 4 drumsticks with the skin removed to make it a nice small portion. Season the chicken and let it marinate for at least 15 minutes. Brown some sugar in oil and sear the chicken to give it a nice color. And since it's a smaller portion, make sure you're using a smaller pan or a pot for this, okay? Add in just enough water to come up to the size of the chicken, then your peppers and onions, tomato paste or sauce, green olives with pimento and bay leaf. Bring to a boil, cover, reduce the heat, and simmer for 25 minutes. Then simmer uncovered until the sauce thickens. Add some fresh cilantro and enjoy. The full recipe is on my blog, and as always, I told y'all there's food at home. If the beef stew isn't melt in your mouth tender, then I don't want it. And of course, my recipe is tender, hearty, and flavorful. I like to start by seasoning the beef with adobo, sazon, and pepper. Set that aside, and while prepping the veggies, the beef gets that extra time to soak in the spices. Once everything is prepped, I brown the beef in some olive oil to lock in that flavor. Then it's time to get the base of our stew going. Cook the onions and peppers with some sofrito. Then I like to add in tomato paste to build some depth along with beef stock. The bold flavors come together as the stew simmers. Add in the carrots and potatoes towards the end. Once everything is tender, add in a cornstarch slurry to thicken up the stew. This is my go-to dish when I need something comforting. I like to serve the stew with rice and plantain, and as always, I told y'all there's food at home. Welcome back to Small Batch Stews. Today we're making red beans and rice for 2. Now, if you want something comforting and hearty but don't want to eat leftovers for days on end, this recipe is for you. Brown some andouille sausage in a pot and remove, then saute onions, celery, and bell peppers. Add your red kidney beans that were soaked overnight, and I'm using only 3/4 cups for this. I added just a few pieces of smoked turkey necks. You do not need a lot because this is a small portion. Add in your seasonings, 3 cups of water, chicken bouillon, thyme, and bay leaf. Bring to a boil, reduce the heat, and simmer for an hour and a half covered. And I'm only using a 4-quart Dutch oven for this. You need this size or smaller. I like my red beans pretty thick, so I smash a lot of beans to thicken it up, but if you don't want it too thick, only smash a little bit. Add the sausage back in and let this cook for about 15 minutes or to the consistency that you want it to be. Stir in your smoked meat, fresh parsley, and you're done. The full recipe with measurements is on my blog, and as always, I told y'all there's food at home. Welcome back to Small Batch Stews. Today we're making lamb stew, aka Irish stew. I'm gonna chop up 2 slices of bacon. I'm using a pound of lamb neck for this. I'm gonna season it with just some salt and pepper. I'm gonna go in with some flour. Give this a nice mix. Now we're just gonna prep the rest of our vegetables and aromatics, which is celery, onion, carrot. Heat your Dutch oven over medium-high heat and then go ahead and add in the bacon. And we're just gonna cook the bacon down until it's nice and crispy. Move it from the pot and set it aside and keep all of that oil in the pot. Add in the lamb and brown this on all sides. You just want to get a really nice sear on it. I'm going to remove the lamb from the pot and go ahead and set this aside as well. Then I immediately go in with my onion, garlic, and celery. Add in tomato paste, back in, and the bacon. Guinness. Now the Guinness just adds a rich depth of flavor, and it just really creates a wonderful gravy for the stew. Beef broth, I'm just mixing some water and some beef bouillon, rosemary, thyme, sage, and bay leaf. Some cumin. Cover this, then reduce the heat to low and let this simmer for an hour and a half. It's pretty tender, but it could be more tender, so I'm gonna let it cook for another 20 minutes. Now the meat is pretty fork tender. The carrots, let it simmer for about 30 minutes. You want to do this so it creates a thick gravy. Now just look at how much that gravy has reduced. So the finishing touches, we'll stir in some fresh parsley. The full recipe is on my blog, and as always, I told y'all there's food at home.